And on the run. And then comes up and you can see.
That's unbelievable.
He broke his...
The NBA community has been rooting for Zion ever since he entered the league, but the guy's health has made it hard to be a true believer. I'm talking about believing in him as a champion, MVP, or face of the league. There's no questioning his potential, talent, and skill. Zion's upside severely outshines his downside, but we have yet to see him play a full season, and it seems to be only getting worse for him. On January 2nd this year against the Sixers, Zion left the game with a right hamstring injury and did not return. He finished the game with 26 points in 28 minutes, which shows how truly efficient he is when he's actually on the court. At first they said he'd be out for like 3 weeks, and then he would be reevaluated. Then, in early February, he re-injured it before the All-Star break and has been rehabbing it ever since. The talk around Zion has always been how explosive he is, like when his foot burst through his shoes during a game at Duke.
Now Zion in traffic, jams it home with a right hand.
And how he has the potential to be the face of the league and an MVP caliber player, which is all true, but Zion has never been healthy enough since entering the league to convince anybody that he ever will. For true hoopers, this is the part that stings the most. A guy at his size to be so explosive, shoot at such a high percentage, and be able to finish around the rim with power or grace hasn't been seen very often.
Possession just came back into the game. Zion, a 3-ball. Yes!
The issue? He's missed a total of 192 games so far in just his 4th season. At the time of this video, he's missed 51 games this season. While everyone was excited to see him return with the playoffs in near sight and the Pelicans currently sitting in the 8th seed in the West, New Orleans has just announced that Zion will not be returning for the play-in tournament. The closest possible return would be a first-round matchup, and even that is not a guarantee. It makes you wonder, is the best solution to just sit him for the rest of the season? Let him heal instead of rushing him back for the playoffs and potentially messing with team chemistry and possibly making his injury worse. This news is not surprising at this point to anyone who's been following the NBA or is a fan of Zion, but it does beg the question, should the New Orleans Pelicans trade him this offseason? Now, before we get all hasty and you think I'm jumping the gun here, let's look at the numbers. He's missed 133 games in the last 2 seasons, which means he's only played in 29 of them. He's only played 114 games in his first 4 seasons in the league. The former #1 draft pick had all the hype in the world to go along with his shocking and explosive talent, but he hasn't been on the court. All that talent doesn't mean anything when you're not in the active roster and fans don't get to go and watch you play. It makes you wonder if him coming in and out of the roster constantly like this is actually hurting team chemistry more than even helping it. Currently on this New Orleans team, you got a Brandon Ingram who is playing the best basketball of his career, averaging 24.3 PPG, 5.3 rebounds, and 5.8 assists a game. He was out with a toe injury earlier this season, but since then has come back. He's been balling out of his mind and dropped a couple triple-doubles, the first 2 of his career. Then you got Trey Murphy, who has put up over 30 points in his last 2 games and really stepped into his own as an elite role player for the Pelicans. He's showing signs of becoming a star in his own right and being more than just a role player. CJ McCollum has been consistent his whole career, and this season is no exception. He's averaging 20.9 points, 4.4 boards, and 5.8 assists a game, and shooting well from deep. All this makes you wonder if they truly need Zion. Sure, his upside is amazing, but it's been 4 years and he's in his early 20s. It's not like he's gonna get older and become less injury prone. That's not how the human body works. He's proven that he can't last through an 82-game season, but then when you add on playoffs, which are even more grueling and intense, his chances of being reliable are slim to none going by the stats. The next logical question would be, who would they trade him to?
I would really consider trading Zion Williamson this offseason.
All the other teams have been able to see how reliable his health is, which would make it hard to pull off an equal trade. The only place I could see him going would be to a medium-sized market team that can offer New Orleans 1 all-star caliber player, and then some future first-round draft picks. No bigger market team is going to want to take on the risk of having him, but his name is big enough and creates enough buzz that a smaller market team would want him to put more fans in the stands. If they trade him now before his health is absolutely solidified as non-reliable, the Pelicans still got a chance to turn into a real contender next year. If I were other teams in the league, I would be asking if I even wanted Zion. For a smaller market team, it would be huge because he would sell tickets when he's healthy, but how long would that last for? It's a gamble either way. The situation the Pelicans are in right now is one where they can either say, we made the investment in him over John Morant and we gotta stick it out, or they can go the route of saying, let's get as much as we can for him before he has a career career-ending injury or loses all his value due to unreliability. The Pelicans got some serious decisions to make going into next season. Coming at this whole situation from the perspective of Zion himself. If I'm him, I'm thinking I got no choice but to lose weight. Zion is listed as 6'6" and 284 pounds, but is reportedly weighed in at over 300 during some of his rehabilitation from injury. His weight has always been a topic of conversation, since even before he entered the league, as people were wondering if he was too heavy to make it through a full season. He's now proved that all this talk wasn't just hate or people preying on his downfall. They were genuine concerns that were valid. Everyone knows the NBA has highly trained professional strength and conditioning coaches. That's nothing new. Without a doubt, they've been working with him over the years and making him aware of how his weight isn't conducive to long-term durability, which leads me to believe the issue isn't with the training staff or anyone around him, it's in his mind. Without over-speculating on what's going on in his mind, only he would know that, I don't believe for a second he's not aware that he needs to slim down a little bit. Zion locked in this year with the Pelicans to a 5-year, $193 million maximum rookie extension. In the contract he signed, there was a weight clause that specified he can't be over 295 pounds, as they will do periodic weigh-ins, and he also has to stay under a certain body fat percentage. So the Pelicans are trying. He needs to do his part and do whatever it takes to get and stay lean. With all that new money, I'm sure he can afford the best nutritionist, the best trainer, and the best whatever he needs to be at his best. Maybe these constant injuries will be the wake-up call he needs to shed some weight and turn into his best self as a player. Whatever it is, I hope he figures it out. What do you guys think? Should the Pelicans trade him before he ruins all his reliability, or should they stick to their original investment and see it through with him? We all know that he has the potential to truly become great, and everyone's rooting for him. If he can get his mind right, his diet right, his body right, there's no ceiling for this dude. For real. Peace.